Welcome back, everyone, to our Let's Play series of the Endurance DLC in Motorsport Manager. So, we just finished up our first race of the career mode, and let's face it, that was a learning experience, and that's what the next few races at least are going to be before we're able to get things turned around, because we're in a position where we can't spend a whole lot of money. I mean, yeah, we got $9.8 million right now, but we're losing $2 million per race, as you can see from the finance tab. And of course, that's not going to last very long. And that is assuming we have a medium budget for next year's car. We can't really afford to increase that right now either. So we're having to be kind of frugal. Now, we know that a few things are going to happen. First is, if we go back to the home screen or the scouting screen, you can see our scouting is going to be ongoing. In 2 more days, we're going to find out if Falco here is any good, if we want to try to add him to our drivers list. Because over the course of this season, what I would like to do is pick up some much better drivers and try to increase the performance of our car that way. You can notice our drivers are at the bottom of the list. Okay, we're last. So I would like to, at a minimum, get our drivers up somewhere in here, if not higher, by the end of the season. Again, it's going to be an ongoing process, and we can only do as much as our money will allow us. The other thing we're going to deal with that's going to be ongoing is our sponsors. Now, these are not going to stay blank for very long. In fact, I would imagine that with our next race coming up in 31 days, that we'll have sponsors in at least half, if not all of these slots by that time. So that's the kind of thing that's ongoing. That's why, we're developing parts here. We're going to have brand new brakes on our cars by the time we get done with in the next few days here, and then we'll take an opportunity to work on those parts and then continue developing parts as we can, again, as the money constraints will allow us. So let's go ahead and get through some of these emails. Most of these I don't care about, but these are always nice. So 49% is what we lost on each car as far as part condition. That gives me an idea. That tells me that essentially we lost 50% of our car, and we really didn't push except toward the end. We pushed with the engine. So that gives me a baseline number to think about. So let's go in. Let's go ahead and do this interview. See what we've got. Which of your car currently has the better drivers? They're equally great. Let's see what that does. All right, it helps the second car drivers out, looks like. All right, pit crew review. Let's see what they were up to. They did 8 total stops, 4 for each car. And fastest pit stop was there. That's the benchmark. We had 1 mistake, and we lost some time, blah, blah, blah. All right, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Our pit crew, if we come back to the home screen, is actually not too bad considering where we are right now. So I'm not going to worry too much about trying to improve the pit crew. We're just going to basically try to hold things where they are there. All right, so pit crew. Let's take a look and see where everybody's stamina is, because we don't need that to get down very low. That's for sure. All right, doesn't look like anybody took a serious hit on that. Is there anybody we can swap out? So we can swap out front jack if we needed to, although he looks perfectly fine here. The red zone is where we don't want him to get to, but it looks like some of these don't take long to get into the red at all. Yikes. I mean, that's not good. So let's see. Anybody out here? I mean, obviously we're getting sort of the bottom of the barrel on the pit crew right now. And I'm not interested in mistakes. I'll take slower pit stops over these 15 and 20 second mistakes that pop up, because I prefer the consistency. And let's see, everybody is $5,000 except for a 6 and a 4. Okay. Cost per race is pretty minimal. And let's see, tires and fixing. Okay, this is very good. I like this. And again, it doesn't cost very much, and we're going to need extras. We already know that. We're going to need extras. And, okay, so rear jack. All right, this guy here could serve as a sub for the rear jack, or would be great for front tires with the tires and fixing pretty good, and not too bad on refueling. So let's go ahead and hire this guy. Going to cost us 200 grand. For some reason, these guys get that as a sign-on bonus. I have no idea why. I can't imagine paying pit crew guys 200 grand, particularly as low as skilled as these guys are. Now, another thing I'm sort of inferring at this point, or assuming, is that while we're seeing 8s and 9s and all that, I'm assuming 20 is the max, just as it is with the drivers. So I'm going to assume that is the case. And for right now, what I want to do is let's take a look at our front tire changers. And let's see. Oh, this guy is great at refueling with tires. All right, so I'm thinking we might swap this guy out and put him in the back. Let's go ahead and swap. Let's swap you and you. And then now you are pretty good, I mean, at refueling. Front jack is not bad, but I'm thinking I want to swap out with you. That should help us out, I think, quite a bit on the tires. Now you can see refueling takes the most time. Tires take a lot of time. And then the jack and the driver change, as far as I know, driver change, nothing we can do about that. So, and then of course you got your repair times over there, which we're not going to worry a whole lot about. But, all right, I like this. Let's take just another quick look here. This will also give me some guys that I can swap out, for instance, right here, as these guys get some rest. Okay, but let's see. Ooh, this guy here, man, that is very low. So front tire changing. Let's see if we have anybody we can put in here. Yes, we do. Not as good, but I feel like we need to swap them out so we can get some rest, if nothing else. And then we'll look over here in the hiring column. Who else might be useful to us? I like the high stamina numbers, but these guys aren't thrilling me right now, and I think we're okay to go from here. We're going to hang in there with our drivers until we get some scouting done. And let's go ahead and move things forward until we can start working on the car itself. Here we go. Car repair is complete. Get through our emails real quick. All right, so car repair is complete. Now we know in 3 days we're going to have some new brakes, and we're going to want to work on those. So I think what I want to do here is go ahead and leave all of our staff allocated to reliability on this new brake package, and try to get that up as high as we can. And that looks good. Oh, we got a sponsor in here. We've only got one, so I'm going to leave that be right now. All right, I like that. And then in a few more days, we'll see where we are from 57. All right, we got a scouting report. Looks like it's done. And we've got, okay, some more sponsors have popped in. Let's see, scouting report on Falco. Let's see, he would be one of the stronger drivers in terms of Class B. Probably not worth staking a huge amount in his potential, though. Okay, he's operating near the limits. That means he's probably not going to increase a whole lot in the future. So we'll have to look about his age. His strength is his smoothness. I love that. Struggles with fitness. Okay, that's not good, because that means he's going to struggle to do consistent laps over a long period of time. All right, so let's go look at Falco. We could have clicked on that link over there, but okay, this isn't bad. All right, so he's just slightly above a 3-star driver. And just so we get an idea, let's look at our drivers and see. We don't have anybody that's a full 3-star driver, so this is good. He would definitely be a step up for us. So let's go back in. And I love that smoothness. Man, do I love that. All right, he's 25 years old, so that's good. Not nearing the end of his career. And I like all of these numbers considering where we are. Aggressive, very good at overtaking. Doesn't mind if he doesn't get the newest design part. That is a great trait to have. Successful designer. Okay, so his marketability is tremendous right now, but we already know that in about 4 months or so, it's going to drop down some. All right, I like this. I like this a lot. What I do not like is the 77 right there. I do not like that. And the reason I don't like that is because one of the things we've learned in that first race, or at least, again, we'll see how it goes as time goes on, but I'm thinking that that's going to mean short stints only for a driver like this. So I'm not crazy about that, but again, we'll see how that goes. I do want to, let's see. I tell you what, I'm not going to approach him right now. Let's give a moment to let some of these others come through. And then we'll get an idea of how it stacks up. But I'm thinking that he might make ultimately a good number 3 driver that we can put in for a good quick stint. But that's my thinking right now. We'll see how it all works out. So the brakes build is done. Okay, let's go to our car. And before we just start designing a new part, let's see, we're at 69%. All right, that's not bad. We got 26 more days until our race. And reliability, we really need to work on both here to see. I mean, I'd really like to have this 53 available to us if at all possible. Let's move everything back over to reliability because at this point, that's more important than performance. We'll get back to the performance. And we'll also get back to the sponsors. I want a few more of those to trickle in. We got 26 days, so we got plenty of time to deal with sponsorship. All right, so nothing going on for us. No special emails are popping in. All of that, that's good. All right, we got some scouting reports that are going to be done. Let's go. All right, let's go ahead and stop it now. We got a few scouting reports, a bunch of sponsors to deal with. All right, that's good. Scouting report on Felipe, one of the weaker drivers. Ooh, okay. Doesn't have potential. Okay, so we're not looking good for Felipe. Bubba Jones. All right, now that sounds like he's coming from my neck of the woods there. He would not be one of the best drivers. All right. Okay. So that's all right. We can deal with that. So now we got a couple more. Let's go ahead into the scouting and take a look at their details. Ooh, yeah, this is definitely not good. I like his marketability. That is tremendous. That'll help us out with sponsorship. But yeah, he doesn't look like he can drive very good at all. Okay, let's look at Bubba Jones. And, okay, marketability is not great. I do like this, though. I do like the 97. I don't know exactly where this is. This is a little bit high. But I see some things that are not terrible. Again, he's roughly a 3-star driver. All right, he helps his teammates to improve faster. Okay, I like that. He's 26 years old. He is a nice guy, so I like the happiness and the morale boost. And, oh, okay. Here we go. So he's had an addiction relapse. Now, this can work actually very much in our favor. And this is why I say this. Because you see all the -2s and then the morale is -30 and all of that. Those are obviously very bad, but they only last for 14 weeks. After that, he is going to be looking very good on some of these. I mean, overtaking, he'll be up to a 19, fitness, 18. And I would imagine this will improve as well. Let's see. Stamina is show how tired the driver is. We got it. Let's see. They have the ability to be fired up. We got that. Each driver has a danger zone marked in red. Yeah, we got that. His is kind of high. And he'll be much slower. Okay, that's really all it really tells us. Okay, so this is not great, but we'll keep an eye out for him because he may not be bad at all to have. Again, if nothing else, he could be a number 2 or a number 3 driver. Okay, so not bad there. Let's move over to our sponsorship because that's really what we're after, that and our car. So we got 2 offers in each of these. I am probably inclined to go ahead and sign some of these. All right, so our sponsorship offers 3 deals. We've got an upfront payment of $500,000. We've got a split $450 up front and $85 per, or just a flat $150 per. All right, I think out of these that this is going to be our best deal. I kind of like that this one is a short-term deal. I don't like this one at all. The per race on that's not good. So I think we're going to go here. Go ahead and take that one. And let's see what we've got. All right, 10th or above, that will be in class. So I like this one. Plus, it gives us an upfront payment of $1 million. All right, that's going to be hard to go past. And plus, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get to 8th or above anytime soon. I like this one. Okay. And let's see what we got here. Target position first and first. Okay, that's useless to me in every way, so we'll take the only one that gives us anything up front. We're not going to be winning any races anytime soon, that's for sure. All right, let's see what we've got. 2 offers here. We'll go ahead and work this one. 5th or above, again, not going to be useful to us, so we'll take the upfront money. And these only have 1 offer each, and that may be all we get. But we still have 7 days, so we'll hold on to a little bit of hope there. See how we're doing. We got 80% and 49%. Okay, that's, not great. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and... Now, I tell you what, let's just go ahead and keep it in. I was going to remove this out, but let's just go ahead and stick with the plan. We'll move forward. Okay, and now we're ready for the race, but first let's take a look at our sponsors. All right, let's go ahead and sign these guys. Upfront payment, not bad here. So let's see, 350 grand over 9 races would give us a total of 3.15. Okay, not bad there. Versus 6 races, $1 million. All right, so we're going to go with the 350 per race. I always like the per race deals anyway. And let's see, only 1 offer here. How about that? So now we'll take a look at our finance screen. And let's see, so we're down to losing $1.4 million per race. And of course, we got some extra money that we're working with. Okay, and also, don't forget, at the end of the season, we'll get a certain amount of payout based on the rules and based on our finishing position. So we got that to look forward to. So if we can make it to the end of the year, then we'll have a nice windfall payment for that. All right, our HQ, we're still 5 weeks, so we're still a long way away from that. All right, let's go ahead and prepare for our race. So let's see, we are looking for... All right, this is really the only one we have a realistic shot at, even though it's not going to pay us very much to do. All right, tire selection, let's see. I am probably going to be using... Oh, wow. No, I don't want to do that. It wants me to split up. And I'm not sure I'm ready to split this up just yet. I'm thinking I need more on the soft tires. The bad news is I don't know how long each of these are going to last right now. Let's see. Oops, let's take a couple out of here. Let's go for 4 there. And do that. Because what that will mean is that this will split up, but I'm not sure I have the stamina in these guys to really use the harder tires, or at least not the way I would like to. All right, let's look at our parts, see what we got. Let's do the fit parts. And this one, okay, it's at 60%, not exactly what I would prefer, but I kind of like to get an idea of what it's like as far as performance. So I think I'm going to add it right there, and then we're going to move up here as well. So the second car is getting the least reliable equipment as far as that goes. All right, so let's see where we are on the other. Suspension is looking great. We're up roughly at 90% there. This will be the next thing I'll want to work on. And okay, I think we're in good shape. I think this is where we want to be. Plus, we got this bonus of the tire wear efficiency is improved, so we'll see how that all works out as well. All right, let's go back to the race screen, and I think we're ready to race. All right, as we get ready to begin the race, let's quickly run through our pre-race items, and you can see here our knowledge bonuses, medium tires, and race trim. And the race trim is what I focus on all the time because at this point, I pretty much know we're going to qualify near the back, so I'm not worried about those bonuses. I'm worried about the bonuses that will get us over 3 hours. So the medium tire was just simply because I wanted to learn a little bit more about the most durable tire because I feel like that can give us an advantage over time, not necessarily today. We'll have to see how things play out for that. Again, we're still very much in that learning stage. So let's move on to the setup. Setup is very good. It's 95, 97%, something along those lines. I really wish I could find a mod that would save me the trouble of having to deal with all that and just give me somewhere between 93 and 97% each time and just let me not have to worry about it. But taking a little deeper look at the setup, what my plan is for the race is because Kurt here has the most stamina, and you can see his red bar is fairly low, especially compared to his teammates. So I plan on him doing the longest stint possible, and that's going to mean the medium tire, which we're not going to get anywhere near 57 to 59 laps because of our fuel. Okay, so I plan on him doing as long a stint as possible because his co-drivers will not be able to do that, although Sabrina will come the closest to it. So we'll come out of that, and then we'll take a quick look at the second car, and you can see same thing is going to be here for Carolyn, although she is not in near as good a shape as Kurt is with regards to stamina, either on the top end or with her red area. And then, of course, we're going to have to be looking at shorter durations for her co-drivers as well. She will be using the medium tire, and her co-drivers in all likelihood will stick with the soft tire. So we're looking at a 4-stop race, probably at best, simply because of the fuel options. But we will get started, and again, we're going to continue to learn. The one thing I am going to start off doing this time is putting the engine mode on high, and even though we haven't had a chance to work on that particular component of the engine, meaning the reliability, we will go ahead and test this out, and if toward the end of the race we need to back off of that, then we will definitely do so. But again, we're in the learning curve here, and I definitely want to continue doing that. All right, let's get our camera in line again. I usually like to get the usually like to align everything with the front stretch and with the pit road so I can see it like that. All right, we'll keep it in 3D mode here for a little bit, and then I'll swap it over to 2D because my eyes get tired. And again, over the course of time, you guys let me know if the same thing is happening to you or you prefer to spend most of the time in 3D mode. All right, so we are qualified 21st and 24th with, oddly enough, our second car qualifying better. My guess is that's because of the better brake package that we've installed, but which gives me hope that we can pick up some time and speed that way. All right, here we go. So we're about ready to get this thing started, and let's see what we can do. We'll stick with, in general, the car that is running the best. Already you can see we dropped straight to the back, and that's most likely because these guys are probably pushing hard in front of us, and we are simply trying to make it at this particular point in time. Oh, there we go. Number one car pushes out in front. We'll see if that hangs on, and if it does, we'll swap over and focus on that car. Make sure I'm zoomed out as far as I can. Okay, it does look like that's going to stick. So let's swap over to that. And because of the engine mode, it looks like we're able to keep up a little bit better than we were last time, so that's a good thing. Okay, so far, so good. I'm not pushing with the drivers simply because I'm not sure how much we can do that, but you can see just so far and what we've done, and I'm trying to keep an eye on how much the tires are wearing, because I do believe that these tires will last longer than the fuel will. So as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and push a little bit, and let's find out if that is indeed the case. Now, I don't want to necessarily push as much with both cars because I kind of want to see the difference it makes, if any. All right, so we're pushing, and it looks like our cars are they're still right there neck and neck, so it's not doing a whole lot of good at current time. So we've had a driver mistake that could be from pushing, most likely. Okay, and that has hurt our tires, so it's already not looking good. Okay, the amount of time you can push and whether or not you can push at all, a lot of that depends on the driver. If you have a driver with good stats and good focus and that kind of thing, then you can get by with pushing a lot more. If you do not, then of course you're not going to be able to push as much. So we'll follow this along a little bit Tires are coming up to temperature here, pushing. We've got another driver mistake. This is why we need better drivers, faster drivers that hopefully make fewer mistakes and can remain more focused during the race. All right, so we lost some tire health there. Still not looking terrible, though. The idea is I would prefer these guys go as long as they possibly can. It looks like we're already seeing some pit stops. Is that right? I could have sworn I saw the pit stop icon just in front of us on one of the cars. Yes. Okay, so we've got a car that's coming in. Okay, so we've got about 17 laps of fuel, it says. What I've noticed in practice is because of the engine strategy, we're pushing the engine a little bit. We're using about 1.05 fuel per lap. And if we back that off to the yellow, then it's about 0.95 roughly. So those are the numbers that I'm just sort of glancing at from time to time. So we're not going to quite get as many laps out of that as we might want. Okay, everything's still going good. Stamina's still looking good for both drivers. And all right, so we've picked up a couple of positions here. All right, so we're in 19th for now. Looks like we're back to 20th. But still, we're in the running. That's the main thing. All right, we got another driver mistake, and they are just killing the tires. So at this point, I'm going to back it down to neutral, because too many driver mistakes will definitely kill the tires and, of course, shorten our stint. Okay, let's take a look at the condition of the engine. Yeah, we're down quite a bit, so we're going to have to back off at some point, but I'm going to try to keep this going as long as I can. Yeah, 72, that's definitely not where we want it, but we're doing good on the time. Laps are winding down for both drivers, so I'm going to have to start thinking about the pit stops. But we'll be doing pit stops first with our second driver simply because of the stamina is a little bit different there. Okay, so we're getting right down to it. So our fuel ends up being pretty good for this particular round. All right, now we are at a point where I'm going to have to make our first pit stop so I don't run these guys out of tires or fuel. So let's go ahead and have you push as hard as you can for another lap. All right, yes, I know you've got low stamina. We're getting there. Okay, so you'll come in the next time. All right, so we're going to swap out Mike Ham. You can see stamina is not good for him, so this is going to be a shorter stint for him. And he will do this on, let's see. Let's put him on the softs. I'm a little afraid. This might actually be the better choice for him. All right, estimated laps. I never get anywhere near these number of laps, whether I'm pushing or not. So we'll think about. Let's go ahead and put this up. 33 is not bad. Probably. Yeah, we'll leave it at 33. And might as well get it up to the 34. That's full. I don't think we're going to make that, though, with him at all. Let's see. Do we need to fix anything yet? No, we're looking okay so far. We'll do a balanced pit stop. Okay. So we'll let her come into the pits. And then we'll have, next time by, we'll have our number one driver come in. All right, here we're going to go ahead and have Rico take over. Again, stamina is terrible. So we're going to have him, we're going to have right at an hour with Kurt. Right at an hour, we're not going to get anywhere close to that here. So I'm going to go ahead and try out the super softs. Simply because we've got a little bit better stamina here, but I'm estimating that we're going to put Kurt back in at the very end as well. So this says, all right, at most we'll be able to get maybe 30 laps here out of the tires. So I'll go ahead and put And I know putting extra fuel slows the car down. You can see here about 1/10 per lap, but I'm not as worried about that. Okay, so we got balanced here. And let's go ahead and set up the pit stop. Then, all right, so we got a mistake up here. And that's no good. But looks like they're on their way. We're about to be, yeah, there we go. Now we got some nose damage, great. So this is why it's good to have a nice pit crew. All right, so we are off and running. We definitely do not want to push with either of these drivers because we need all the stamina that we can get out of them. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll stay in 3D mode for now. And we might split this in half and do half the race in 3D, half the race in the 2D. All right, so we're keeping an eye on the time in car because we got almost an hour right at it with our number 1 drivers. We'll see how much we get here in this case. So if we look at the mini map up in the top right-hand corner, you can see that we've definitely fallen back. We've lost some pace, which is what we would expect, but we're not so far off the pace that I feel like, you know, we can't make that up with some improvements over time to the car and also by getting some better drivers. I feel like we have a real shot to move up toward the middle to end of the season. We should be running much better than what we are now. All right, keeping an eye on stamina. We've got both drivers that are getting very close to their fired up stages. The purple circle is what I'm looking at. Okay, also watching tire wear. Around 78, 77% for each. That's good. So we're not pushing with the drivers. Again, I don't think, number 1, I don't think we have high enough quality drivers to be doing that. But by the same token, it's also going to use up the tires quicker, and we don't want that. Okay, yeah, we're falling behind now. This is where I feel like driver quality is really starting to hurt us. So all things we're trying to learn as we go through this first season. Okay, also trying to keep an eye on the weather a little bit. Look, so far so good, and I'm really bad about not paying attention to the weather. All right, both drivers are now fired up, but ending here just in another lap or so. They'll be dropping out of that. Okay, keep an eye on the number of stops. Looks like we've got the second stops have started for one of the teams. Actually, 2 of the teams. Looks like. All right, now we're getting down to the end here. Wow, this is not good. I mean, 30 minutes and already the stamina's almost gone. Yikes. That is not good. We're not a whole lot better over here on the second car, but... All right, so the tires did indeed last long enough, about as long as... All right, so let's go ahead. We got to get him out of the car. And let's put in Sabrina. She's a little bit better off. Still not anywhere near Kurt up here. Okay, so I think for her we can get a full run out of these tires. Let's go ahead and put her on this set of tires. Let's see. I tell you what, let me back off that. Let's go with the soft tire with her and just really try to get everything we can. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up the fuel in hopes that we can get as much as we possibly can. Fixes, I don't see anything that I want to do right now. Looking pretty good. Okay, and balanced pit stop. Let's go ahead and line that up. Okay, we'll move over to our other driver. Well, if it would allow us to. And we'll keep an eye on the pit stop. So far, so good. Okay, that's good. That's what we want. No mistakes there. And we're getting down, again, the soft tire has lasted and done very well, and the fuel is not going to be too far off. So now we'll be ready for another stint for a new driver here momentarily. We're down to an hour 20 left. And yes, we're getting into low stamina, but right at 45 minutes. So that's not terrible. And now we're going to put our worst stamina driver in. So tire choice is going to be simple here. It's going to be the super softs. And we're going to get, what, maybe 20 laps out of this. 22, 23 laps. So let's go ahead and let's put about 26 and a half. Yeah, that ought to be pretty good because we're not going to get a whole lot out of this, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and do part condition. Ooh, we are looking bad. This is the damage we took. We're going to have to fix that. And we're going to have to fix this as well. Okay, so it's going to take a little time. But let's go ahead and bite the bullet and do that. Alright, so you see we'll fall down the standings now while we're in the pits. And our hope for moving forward for either car is going to be that the AI drivers also have to make repairs, and so that will hurt their time as well. You can only hope. Okay, let's take a look at our condition. 46, wow. I think we're going to be able to make this, but it's pushing it pretty hard at this point. Going to be close. Remember, what we really don't want is to get down below 20. So we'll have to see if we can make that. I think we're going to be able to make it without doing any repairs to the number one car. But again, we'll have to see how that goes. All right, stamina looking good. As good as it can look anyway. Okay, we're not terribly far behind our immediate competitors. You know, you can see here again on the graphic about, oh yeah, we're definitely moving in on them now, 3.6 seconds. Yeah, that deficit is shrinking for sure. All right, I like it. Yeah, we're on speed. We're doing good compared to these folks right in front of us. We're not that far off of them. So we pick up one spot and then we'll continue on. So speed looking pretty good there. More pit stops happening. Oh, you can see those on the mini map. Most of those lately appear to be from the A-level guys. Okay, so this tells me one of the huge things I'm going to be looking for from the new drivers that we're looking to hire will be stamina. Speed is obviously great, but stamina is huge. Because having to do short stints like this, I mean, we're going to end up around 30 minutes, probably 35 minutes of track time for this particular driver. That's no good. We need that up around an hour, as close as we can get it. All right, so far so good. Keeping an eye on our fuel as well as the tires, and I think we're looking good. Now, also I'm taking a look at our time remaining. So we're at about 46 minutes, and I have to start thinking about the time we have left available. All right, so now we need to swap back out. 44 minutes left, and who are we going to put back in? Let's see. Are we going to have enough time? Wow, our number one driver, we would have just enough time to do that, I think. So let's go ahead and set up the first pit stop here, and we want to go back in. Obviously, we're going to have to go with our number one driver again. She's not fully back on stamina, but that's okay. Tire choice here, we're going to go with the soft tire. And let's see, that would give us, let's go ahead and fill her up on fuel. Speed is not what I'm most concerned with right now. Wow, we're going to have to back off on that engine though. Okay, let's go ahead and back off on the engine to hopefully make it last. And then as soon as we get done here with our pit stop, we will focus on, well, maybe, there we go, focus back on our number 1 car and get ready to do that pit stop as well. So we're back to 38 minutes remaining, and I think we're good. Yes, we're good now. Let's go ahead and make that pit stop. Put our number 1 driver back in, and the tire will be the soft tire. And the fuel, well, just to be on the safe side, let's go ahead and fill him up. Again, we're not so much worried about the speed right now. Wow, park condition, yikes. Not sure if these are going to make it, so I'm going to have to back down here as well, and we're going to hope for the best. If we have to come in and make a late pit stop, we will, but I'm going to hope that we can make it on that. I really don't want to turn it down to low and lose any hope that we have of finishing anywhere other than last. All right, here we go. Pit stop, what we hope to be our final pit stop, if we can nurse these parts home for another 30 minutes or so. Okay, refueling, everything looks good, no mistakes. Okay, I'm pretty happy with where we are. And so we're running, we have indeed passed 1 car, and we'll see if we can get up and pick up another position without having to really press our luck here. Okay, so far so good. Let's go ahead and move over to 2D. That didn't hurt my head as much as it did on the first race. Maybe I'm getting a little used to it. I'm going to give my eyes a break here for the end of the race. Now you see these icons that let you know that they've got some part issues. I'm not sure if the AI just aren't repairing those, or maybe they just haven't done so yet. Okay, it's showing, you can see excess fuel here, which I figured. All right, we got drive time issues for her. She's going to come in, I think, just under, though. So we're pressing these number 1 drivers to the maximum amount of drive time. And the reason for that is, well, we don't have any other drivers that are really capable of running long enough stints to keep us from it. But overall, I think we're going to be fine, but just barely. Okay, you can also see the difference in where the cars have come out. Of course, you got some mistakes on pit road that have added to that. Our part condition, wow, we are right to the end on the engine, but of course, at this point, there's no reason to come in and fix that, because if it dies on us, then we're going to finish last, which is exactly where we are right now. And how are we doing here? We're at 21% and trying to nurse it home. All right, we got plenty of stamina left for both drivers to make it to the end. Now we're just trying to catch anyone in front of us. It looks like they're stretching out the lead on us. Yeah. So it doesn't look like we're going to be able to catch them. All right, but you notice our sponsor objective was top 10, and right now we do have a driver in the top 10. Oh, wait a minute. I'm starting to see cars retired. So maybe they weren't making those repairs that they needed. This could be really good for us. Of course, that's as long as we can make it home ourselves. And I'm almost afraid to pull up the condition. Ooh, 9%. Just make it about 4 more minutes and we'll be fine. 4 more minutes. All right, so we're up to 18th and 19th by virtue of the retirements. We'll take it any way we can get it. All right, we're down to the final lap now. Okay, waiting for the leader to cross the line. So everybody's crossing the line. And, okay, we did have to go one more additional lap. All right, so, hey, not bad. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I feel like we got about as much as we could out of the car. A little bit too much fuel there at the end. So we could have run a little faster, but overall, the parts condition was the biggest thing on my mind. And we came out with just enough reliability to bring it home. All right, let's go ahead and move through these final few screens. Scrutineering is not an issue for us. We're not using any illegal parts. So we'll come home 18th and 19th. But of course, remember, 12th place is actually the first place for us in our division. All right, driver championship. Now we picked up a few points there. I like it. And we're still a good ways out of 5th, but we're going to hope that we can make a late season push and take care of some of that. All right, let's see if we can get to the money screen and also the morale and all of that, and then that'll take care of this video. If we can get past the loading screen, that is. Okay, so driver form, not bad. Not bad overall. The higher the better, of course. Driver morale, 100% on our top 2 drivers. Okay, I'm not sure how we came in 6th as a team as we finished ahead of several drivers, but the other, that must have been only one of the 2 cars from a team, though, that did that. Okay, you can see our team marketability is very low right now. Okay, team number 2. Again, morale is looking very good for the top 2 drivers. And so we ended up losing 1.3 million. For that, now we're down to 11 million, or excuse me, 10.3 million. But that'll do it. So overall, I think that was a great race, everything considered. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more of our playthrough of Motorsport Manager.